Hello and welcome to the PMQ webinar series. I'm your host, Brian Hernandez, and today we're going to be talking about the resilience of the restaurant industry and how pizzerias can pivot successfully as parts of the U.S. are closing down again. Now, please feel free to ask any questions during this presentation. We're going to have a Q&A at the end. You can find the questions tab in the dashboard part of your GoToWebinar. It's either on the left or right of your page. Click on the questions. You can ask it there. We'll get back to you, let you know that we received it, and we'll make sure that it gets answered. Now, if it's very pertinent and topical to what they're talking about, I will interrupt these guys and make sure that those questions get asked and answered right away as soon as possible. And speaking about our speakers, without further ado, I'd like to introduce a couple industry players. And with just about a year of being open, Estel Powell, owner of the Slice Pizzeria, has had to face one of the hardest things any operator could do, actually opening and lasting in the middle of one of the largest pandemics ever. Estel's going to talk about how he's managed the storm and how HungerRush has helped him. Estel's been the co-owner of Slice Pizzeria, and I'm going to butcher this, Hey Hyra, Georgia, since 2019. And his primary goal is to give back to his community and provide delicious pizza to the patrons of the Slice. Next, we actually have Nick Bryant, Senior Territory Manager of HungerRush. Nick has over a decade of experience in the hospitality industry, having managed restaurants that take in well over $1 million of revenue annually. And since joining HungerRush, he works with the future and current customers to ensure that they're getting the most value out of their services to maximize profits. So without further ado, I'd like to hand this over to Nick. Let Nick and Estel talk a little bit about themselves and then about what the journey's been with the Slice and HungerRush. Nick, go ahead and take it away, brother.
Hey, thanks, Brian. And hi, everybody. Thanks for listening in today. Estel, thanks for taking time out of your busy day to join us as well and share your journey. We're excited to have you on today's webinar and can't wait to hear how you got your start, how Being Digital is helping the Slice Pizzeria better serve its loyal customers, and how HungerRush is supporting you to meet those goals. So what we're going to cover today on this webinar is the following bullet points: the Slice Pizzeria and how we got here, the current landscape of business and long-term goals for the Slice, understanding guest ordering habits in the new normal, digital-first marketing strategy, what's new and what's next for the Slice Pizzeria, tools that support our growing sales model, and then we'll finish up with the Q&A session with all the attendees. I'd like everybody to take a minute to answer the poll question we have. How are you guys primarily engaging with your loyal customer base today? That's often, one of the most important things with growing and scaling your business is how your community outreach is to get repeat business, a better ROI on growing your business. Are you socializing with them via social media, direct mail, email, all of the above? We just want everybody to take a minute to, interact with us and tell us how you guys are reaching out, or if you're not reaching out with anybody.
This is just good information. I mean, this actually helps HungerRush too, kind of develops new systems and stuff like that for each individual market. So everybody's input is very highly sought after and appreciated.
Absolutely, Brian. And that brings up a good point that we've noticed over the last couple of years. The digital trends have definitely shifted. There used to be money mailers that you can get in the mail from Valpak and various other organizations. Now we've seen a major spike in say, Facebook and social media with Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. Email is also super prominent with e-clubs. So we just want to see what you guys are doing to interact with your customers to help grow and build a loyal following.
All right. Well, it looks like we got some good interaction from that poll. Do appreciate everybody's time. And we could put that up again at the end while we're taking questions, just in case you didn't get a chance to answer or we have new viewers as well. So when we go back to the Q&A,
Sure.
We'll pop that back up. All right.
Sure.
Well, why don't you kind of take us through what we're going to be talking about today?
Sure. What I want to do is get, I want to have Estel kind of tell me how we met, how this journey transpired, how him and Ashley, the other co-owner, actually found the Slice and go from there. So Estel, if you could kind of take me through the journey of not only what led you to HungerRush, but how you broke into the hospitality industry in the last year.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. I really appreciate that. So just a little bit of background. Ashley and I, we've been like best friends since like high school. So we've known each other for like 23 years. And we've worked at a couple of other companies in the past. And one of the things that we really wanted to do was just make sure we wanted to find something that we could do ourselves, because we've always been like talking about ideas, how things can happen. And a little bit of background about the Slice. The Slice has actually been around for almost 8 years. This year will be 8. And we actually acquired it back in October of 2019. And it's literally when they first opened up, they were the #1 pizzeria that I went to, and I actually became friends with the owner. And they had some life changes that happened, right? They had a family expanding, some new jobs and opportunities, and they wanted to see if they could find somebody that could come in and really just kind of continue the work that they had done. And for us, really the biggest thing is, hey, I didn't want the best pizzeria in Hahira to like go away, because that's the only place I got pizza. So I was like, what better way than for us to come in and take over and kind of continue that path. And as far as with what was going on in Hahira, is the biggest thing is Hahira is growing, and there's such a great opportunity, and it was just too good to pass up and get in and just kind of be able to continue that with the community and make great pizza.
Absolutely. And what I want to ask is, why pizza? Why restaurants? Why was that something that you guys, you mentioned there were several other business ventures you guys had looked at in the past. Why pizza? Why restaurants? Why get into this market?
Well, I would say when we were looking at like what we were trying to do as like entrepreneurs in the past, everything was kind of like startup. And when we talked with the previous owners about it, they actually reached out to me because we had been friends for, gosh, I think about 6 or 7 years. I met them through Toastmasters, and they presented the opportunity, and it took a while. I think it took us about 5 months looking at the numbers, looking at what they did. We actually went in and shadowed the entire operation for an entire month before we actually decided to purchase the business. And so for us, we saw that there was a lot of things that we could bring from more of an efficiency standpoint and ideas on hopefully for food. And then also, like I mentioned before, that potential with Hahira, which is really looking to basically probably almost double within the next 7 years. So it's in a very prime location. We're right off the interstate. And so we just really saw that there was an opportunity that we didn't want to miss out on. And food, I mean, food's never going away. I mean, people are going to have to eat. That you eat 3 times a day, right? So that was kind of one of our reasons why we wanted to jump into food, because we felt like that's something that definitely would be something to help out our community, and also a great opportunity for us.
Absolutely. And it sounds to me like when it comes to growth goals and strategy, that's one thing that you nailed on the head. Is you knew that an area was expanding. You knew that there was a need for, people love pizza, people love going out to eat, socializing. So that kind of ties into, there's built-in growth. You're right off the highway. So that's great. And we'll jump into the POS buying journey, how you and I formed a partnership and a relationship. And what did the selection process look like? How did you know as soon as you purchased in October? I think you and I were on the phone starting in November. So what did you know? Kind of enlighten me on how you got to HungerRush and how you landed on a decision.
Well, I can say this, when you come into an existing business, it's kind of hard to come in and disrupt kind of what that process is today. We really needed to come in and understand what was the process with the current system. And there was really like 3 parts to the system. You had the POS at the time was point of success. We had another online ordering, which was like Big Holler. And then we had a credit card system. So we had like 3 different systems that we were trying to operate on. And my background, I've got 20 years in software development. And to me, it felt very inefficient. And then the biggest part for us, like the biggest key that we kept struggling with, was on a Friday night, Saturday night, which are generally our busiest nights, is how do we get food out to people and deliver it to their doorsteps in such an efficient manner? And I can tell you that printing off credit card receipts, stacking them on a label, on a box, doing Google searches on your phone while you've got 20 orders coming out the oven is really stressful, and it also is very inefficient. So we identified very quickly that we had some gaps of coverage, both in the system and on like our delivery processes. And that's why we really wanted to start taking a look at it. After we did about 2 or 3 weeks of taking over, I think we did reach out to you, Nick, and we had a couple of other opportunities and other folks that we looked at too. And it really was, for us, it was about trying to, we got to spend money, right, to be able to be more efficient. But by doing that, by being more efficient, the thing that we've seen so far has really been that we've created a much better customer experience across the board.
Yeah, that's one thing when you and I spoke, Essel, is a lot of systems are going to be able to perform and take an order from point A to point B, right? None of us would be in business. I think that I don't know who you demoed with before, but what were some of the things? And you mentioned the cost associated with that. Who did you demo with? And inevitably, when you're talking about the customer experience, we'll dive into it afterwards of how we've enriched and helped you scale a little bit. Who'd you demo with, and what was the kind of how did you say, hey, Ashley, we're going to move forward with HungerRush. I think that they're the fit for us.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So I think we reached out to you and we were actually able to get a demo with you first. So we got a really good base of, okay, here's some key features that we really wanted to integrate with. The two big parts I said was we got to bring all three systems into one, and we got to make more efficiency changes on our delivery side. And so once we kind of got an idea of like what was out there on the POS systems, we narrowed it down to three main folks. We narrowed it down to HungerRush, Toast, and Speedline. And we demoed with all three organizations. And really the deciding factor for us is that we felt that HungerRush had basically the features that we needed to be able to run efficiently. The other POSs had features, but with certain ones, they were either going to add fees on certain functionality pieces, or one of them was basically you got to push half up front. And so that was about a $10,000 investment for us, which we didn't have that capital to really do that as new business owners, because we were in the middle of trying to do fix-ups and repairs and basically make sure that the shop was running, being able to feed people. So the biggest thing for us was the monthly pay scale, as far as being able to do a contract with you guys and be able to do that monthly transaction to where it was cost beneficial for us instead of it all being at one time or half up front.
Absolutely. And so, you land with us, everything's going well. When we onboarded you, take us through kind of that experience. How quickly do you think the staff adapted? How do you think the onboarding and the process got where we went live with you? Just kind of take me through that as far as what your experience was.
Yeah, I want to say that we signed up with you guys probably around like the last week or two of December, right before the end of the year of 2019. And I think we got you guys out there and on site February the 9th, if I remember correctly, because that was the day our system went live. And the really cool thing is with my background in software development, I kind of knew that this wasn't going to be something that's going to be like a week or 2 weeks. It's going to be a process, right? Because you've got to line up, make sure that your menu's set up correctly, demo, make sure that the system is set up the way you need it. And so going through those processes themselves, it was, getting you guys that menu that first 2 weeks, and then doing that demo the next week or two, and then basically planning that on-site installation with the HungerRush installation person. And I'll tell you that I think it was Kimberly that came out. Basically, she came in late at night. We stayed. We took all of our equipment out, put in the new stuff that had came in, and we were basically pretty much up and running the next day with very minimal issues as far as with the deployment process with a new POS and starting with a new system. It's kind of a big thing in retraining staff. So it was definitely, anything's going to have little minor bumps. But I think from an overall holistic standpoint, I think everything went as best as it possibly could with the way things went with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now I'll get into kind of the features. And now that you've had ample time to familiarize yourself with our system, and I know you and I keep diving deeper and deeper pretty much every month of what the capabilities are within HungerRush. I want to go and talk to you about how the digital ordering has impacted your business. We've been working now pretty diligently on your loyalty program over the last 2 months. So, kind of take me through, you've told me, hey, Nick, since, the pandemic happened, we've had record-breaking sales. This isn't record-breaking sales since you've taken over. This is actually record-breaking sales over the last 8 to 9 years of the business. The Slice Pizzeria has actually been in business. So, take me through how you've accomplished that, how you've, grown your loyal customer base, any buying habits that you've seen spike that you've talked about. So just kind of take me through how, online ordering and your loyalty program in tandem have really helped scale, grow, and make you guys more money.
Well, I think the first thing is customers being able to go online and order, it's a must in this day and age. Everybody's got a phone. It's crazy to think the power we have in our pockets. I'll give you a quick story. One of my customers has an autistic child, and she actually messaged us and said it was really amazing to be able to go through and show him, I've ordered your pizza, it's on the way, here's your email confirmation. And it got him excited, right? And then he was excited he's getting pizza. And I thought that was a pretty cool story that she has shared with me. When we talk about the loyalties program, it's still relatively new for us. I will tell you that we did a great job on talking to our customers when they were coming in the door, when they were calling. We even went through and did social media blasting to try to incentivize folks to sign up for that loyalty program. And really the key part about that loyalty program is being able to get a little bit more information to create that more personal touch with your customers. So one of the biggest things that we've been doing lately is doing more of that biweekly or monthly email notification on what's going on, right? So we'll have certain specials that are for those loyal customers that continue to come back. Being able to get, the reports, the analytics, to be able to see what the customers are wanting. You can do that with that loyalties program, but even in the regular POS, we can go through and I can tell you that my Lots of Meats pizza is 13% of all my entire sales. And then you can break that down even granularly to the size if you wanted to as well. So being able to understand what the purchasing is of our customers is really incredible for us to be able to understand, maybe we do need to do more certain sizes. Maybe we need to do certain types of pizzas that people are liking. And then also, when we look at that digital ordering, it's very easy and it's integrated with the POS to where we can make those updates in real time, basically go through and update things on our menu, push that out to our online ordering, and it just kind of works. It just goes in there and it's all set up and ready to go. The other part I would say is that, it's just an easier function for our folks. And for us on a Friday night, I can tell you that both my phone lines are usually off the hook. So what happens is if not having that digital ordering as an asset, we miss out on potential customers, I would say. So being able to have the digital ordering, it kind of gives you more of that ability to reach customers and give them more opportunities and ways to get food ordered. And then the other thing is we're trying to push our customers to actually become comfortable with digital ordering. So by providing maybe incentives to get them to go and do that, because the less time my people are on the phone, the more time they can be taking care of customers and making their food, and just kind of gets that stress level off of those folks there. And from a percentage standpoint, I can tell you that I know when we've taken over, we're very involved in the community. We've seen a consistent about 20% growth, kind of once we started taking over the slice. And with COVID, it was another 20% on top of that. So it's been a crazy 2020, but it's been a fun ride so far from just the business side of trying to have to juggle things. And this has definitely helped with digital ordering and being able to provide, those loyalty programs to our customers.
Absolutely. And that's one thing that you and I always talk about as far as scaling your business. The most important thing is not just having the loyal customers come in, it's the frequency of which they do dine in with us, right? So when we can push the customer base to online ordering, you mentioned that your in-house staff can spend more time, tending to your to-go orders, answering the phones, et cetera, et cetera. Another key metric in that is lowering your labor costs. Right? So if I have more people that automate and we can funnel to the online ordering platform, not only is there an increased ticket average in online ordering, people spend more via online ordering, just like Amazon, just like eBay, anything like that. It also decreases my in-house cost, which is labor, because I don't need that extra set of hands. I sit there and we joke around, Essel and I, as far as it's the greatest feeling when an order auto-populates and you literally take the ticket, make the pizza, and it's done. There's no, can I get your credit card? Can I get your phone numbers? Can I get your address? It's all an automated process. And going digital is no longer, it's the norm, right? So we always talk about the pandemic and the major shift in the market, that this is here to stay and everybody knows it. So you talk about, you guys ordering food online, through your various restaurants, Chinese food, pizza, anything now has had to dramatically shift to an online ordering presence based on the current state that the entire world is in right now. So, talking about COVID, and I think that's a perfect example of. They already had, the Slice Pizzeria had a digital presence before, but with the loyalty program paired, it's really driving that business. We're doing we're tracking certain menu items. Essel is doing a Philly cheesesteak pizza. It's the pizza of the month. So we're tracking those analytics. We're doing email blast out to try to see if that's a pizza that might be here to stay, that will be a permanent fixture on his menu. He's introduced, the pepperoni rolls that him and I've worked on as far as giveaways to, our loyal members with couponing. So there's just a ton of ways that we can automate this sales process and reach out to our loyal customers and say, hey, we're here. We want to stay top of radar when you're thinking about pizzerias in your area, because I know he's got one right down the street, literally a stone's throw away. It's how do we keep them coming to the Slice Pizzeria, and how do we execute at a high level every time they hit submit, order, or call the restaurant. And one thing that we talked about as far as COVID and how it's shaping our business is, what are some things, and you and I, we really focus on culture, right? And I've told you from my years of operation that if you have a great established culture, your business, you'll be the king of the castle. It will automate. Your staff will work hard for you. So with the adaptations you had to go through with COVID, kind of talk about, from an operational standpoint, what you guys had to do with your staff, with how your food handling. Just kind of take me through that journey and how maybe HungerRush has helped from curbside and how it all kind of intertwines.
Well, I'll go ahead and start by saying this. So the great thing about the Slice Pizzeria, Nick, was that basically we're pickup and delivery only. We don't even have a dine-in as part of our restaurant. So it really, that by itself, I think, put us in a very strong position, because immediately, as soon as everything started shutting down in March, we started instituting precautions. We did a fact sheet that we put together on how do you order and maintain that social distancing, right? We changed the fact that no longer were we letting people in the stores. We were actually going out to them in their cars on the pickups. We walked them through that process, and we had to train our employees how to do that. One of the big things that we did also is because this all happened with the time frame it did, it gets dark around about 8 o'clock, roughly where I'm at. So we actually shrunk our hours. We were operating at about 43 hours a week, and we shrunk it to 30 hours. And the reason that we decided to do that is because with deliveries, we were doing a straight up no contact delivery. And part of that process is that we were putting that food on a table, a chair, or on the doorstep, going back to our cars, giving that customer a call. And so we wanted to make sure that our drivers were being safe, so they could actually see what they were doing and see what was going on with that process. And of course, as you continue to go, that all the dine-ins closed down. So because we were pickup and delivery only, our sales just went crazy. I mean, April and May were the biggest months that the shop's ever had in its 8 years. Because of what's happened here. And then as far as with we kept an eye on the news, we kept an eye on our local community. We wanted to make sure that we were being responsible stewards of our customers and our employees. And so we basically worked with our local health department, making sure that we were following all guidelines, and even went so far as to doubling up on some of the stuff that we were doing with like our cleaning and processes and temping employees. But then the other thing is there was like a week where all of a sudden you saw that things kind of like went crazy, where the numbers were jumping. We shut down. We shut our shop down for 10 days, tested all of our employees, and basically sanitized our entire restaurant, just because we wanted to be precautious. We didn't want to do that because of losing out on sales and not being able to feed our patrons and our customers, but we felt we had to be responsible and do what was right for everybody there. So all of these new processes that everybody unfortunately is having to face is kind of a norm now. Like, we're used with our mask, our gloves. The biggest thing with HungerRush that's helped us out is being able to guide that delivery experience, right? So if somebody has, hey, I need you to put the food here outside, we can plug those instructions in on those phone calls. They're able to also go through that online ordering and be able to select that they want that no contact with instructions as well. So being able to live in a world that's changed drastically and be able to communicate effectively with our customers has probably been the biggest thing with COVID. That's been a huge thing for us, a huge benefit to be able to safely provide great food for our customers. And really, we've not really had any main issues with anything like that at all. With any anybody coming in with COVID, we've got our signs up. So I think we've been doing a great job with that. And yeah, hopefully we'll continue to be healthy and continue to be able to feed our customers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, that also leads back to what we kind of touched on before is, we've got our loyalty program, we've got our digital channels. What do you guys do, best that you think works, that you can actually see, you see results, you have analytics, kind of take me through how you do reach out to the customers. What are you doing that maybe other restaurants aren't doing? Take me through that.
So there's probably three main things that we really do. The first, of course, is just communication through social media. We're very big on Facebook. We've got about 2,200 followers on there, and we do our best to try to let them know we're open, what's going on. The biggest thing we had is there was a bad storm that came through July 4th, and one of our electric towers got struck by lightning or something, and we were having electric fluctuations. So we actually were down for like 3 days. So being able to communicate with our customers and let them know that, hey, unfortunately, we're closed. We were able to do that through social media very easily. The other part is like the loyalties program. We've got our emailing, right? So we can actually try to engage more with those customers directly. And the great thing is you can export all that information you need to out of HungerRush. You can fancy it up through MailChimp, whatever your favorite email HTML provider is, and customize it, right? So we're able to actually give them updates on what their loyalty points are, where they're at in that process, what specials we've got going on. And I think that's probably another key one. And that one we can actually see, are we actually having an impact with that? And I would say that the biggest thing for me is in our area, we've actually got quite a few social media groups that are really centered around food. So it's called the Valdosta Food Critic, which is the large town about 10 miles south of us. And I don't know about you, but a lot of times you only get feedback when it's negative. And so for me, I watch those groups every single day, even though there's like 10, 20 posts that come through. The biggest thing for me is that when they mention the slice, being able to see that, luckily for us, I feel like we've done a great job because most of our experiences that have been posted on there have been positive. And then being able to go out and engage with those customers on their comments. We had one of our comments was that they got a half dill pickle pizza and a half lots of meats, and it was great with a picture. And they had a driver with a sombrero on doing a happy dance and singing, and that was one of my drivers. He's just always happy-go-lucky, and I can actually tell that drove somebody else, because the next day we had about a 10% increase when I look at my sales numbers from the previous week. And there was 2 or 3 people that commented. They said, I'm going to go to the Slice tomorrow and get food. And I was actually able to go into the POS and see, hey, Susan went through and ordered this pizza, and it's actually what she said she was going to do. And then they posted, and then the next day it was busy. So I think really getting a way to engage the customers directly in a conversation similar to that on your own social media platform or groups has really been the biggest part for us. And then one last thing I would say about it is of course, I've got a lot of friends in town. If I see that they've ordered, I always give them a text or a call. I'm like, hey, how was the food tonight? How did we do? And I've got some people now that have become regulars, and now we're friends on Facebook. And so I go through our daily review. I go through every night and look at who's ordered from us. And if I see a name that kind of sticks out, I try to reach out and I try to be as engaging as I can. It doesn't take but 10 seconds, right? And then they give you feedback, great, or they might tell me something that maybe we didn't do so good. And then I'm like, thanks for letting me know. We're going to try to get that fixed. So I think those are really like the biggest channels that we work in on trying to increase our growth. And I think it works because, as an example, last night, we had like a crazy order come through. I mean, it was insane. 25% of our sales last night was one customer. They had some homecoming because some friends and people were getting together, and we were behind. And I had a customer that was like missing mushrooms in their calzone. I called them. They're like, "Oh, we love the slice. It's great." And we took care of it, and we got them on the next order where they're going to get a free calzone, and we're going to make it right. But because they know that we actually care, I feel like our customers are a little bit more caring back with us when those type of situations happen. And that's a great partnership to have with your customers.
Absolutely. And it's relatable. One of the major things that when we talk about analytics and data that really drives our business and our decisions we make with our business is, we've talked about loyalty, and we've talked about your outreach. We've talked about, you being a staple within the community. We started the loyalty, and I want to touch on it a little bit as far as when we engage with the customers, the trackability as far as putting coupons out there, right? So that's one thing that we do extremely well is couponing and trackability within the coupons, whether it's a promo code, whether, you have to mention, that whatever secret word you have to let, the business know, I have this coupon, I want my buy one, get one half off, or whatever promotion you're running. So one thing that Essel and I have done when it comes to our loyal guests, and not only that, it's a direct benefit for his business, is we'll send out a coupon and we will see the redemption rate, right? So that's a great way to see, was my promo, did the community respond well to it? Was it a dud? Did anybody call in to redeem that coupon or that promo, whatever you want to run? So that's something that we do extremely well as a company, is being able not only to give an incentive for you to come and order through, the Slice Pizzeria, but it also lets us go back, and if he does an email blast or post something on social media, there's trackability within that. If I run a promo for a certain day, I want to go at the end of the night like Essel does, and when he goes back through and looks at his sales, he'll be able to see exactly the redemption rate of that coupon. If it works great, guess what? Essel's going to run that promo again on a Monday or a Friday or whenever he ran it. If he didn't get a high redemption rate, well, then let's put our heads together and think about, a higher margin item that we can give to the customer to reward them to see if we generated some additional business. So, there's a lot of different ways that Essel does, channels. It goes through his digital channels, social, email. These food groups and Facebook are very prominent right now. I know that I'm a member of one in my local area, and people talk. It's the old adage. If I have a bad experience, I'm going to tell, 5 or 7 of my friends. If I have a great experience, a lot of people don't hear back from it. But if they know that Essel's very involved in the community, really cares about his reputation, that's where he's seeing the fruits of his labor with spending that extra time and carefulness with, hey, how was everything? Any feedback is good feedback. And I think Essel does a really great job of building that throughout this community.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. We definitely do reach out quite a bit to our folks.
So with everything that's encompassing, and we know that there's been some radical shifts in 2020, and we've touched on how online ordering, loyalty, everything is a seamless integration in the suite of products that HungerRush offers. What does the next 6 months look like for you guys? I know that now you've got your feet wet, owning a restaurant, operating a pizzeria, kind of a time to take a step back, take a deep breath. And where do you guys, you and Ashley, see, yourselves in the next 6 months, and what's working well?
So I think for us, one of the biggest things, our biggest goal really is how do we grow, right? We feel that the Slice Pizzeria in Hayhira is really in a good spot, and it's operating very efficiently right now. So there's not much more we can do with where we're currently at due to the building size. Like we literally have been buying more equipment, and I think we are out of space. I can't add anything else. Our biggest thing for us was how do we take care of the demand? We were running out of dough 8 o'clock on a Friday night, and we were using dough we had just made fresh that day. So we've expanded that. So we've been doing a lot in this time with reinvesting in what we've got. But our biggest goal is really how can we expand and open up a second, third location. We were looking like we were probably going to do that a little bit earlier this year, but I think right now for us, it looks like it's going to be more towards that first quarter of 2021 to kind of see how things lay with the land. That's probably our biggest thing there. The things that we're going to be doing for the next 6 months really is, what are the new ways that we can engage more with customers? What are some new ideas? What are some things that our customers want? So we're looking really to, over the next 6 months, how can we get more information and have a conversation with our customers to make sure that we're providing what they want. Because ultimately, if we're not doing what the customers want, if their taste palettes are not being taken care of, they're going to go somewhere else. I've got competition literally a quarter mile down the road from me. I certainly, it may happen, but at the end of the day, I want to try to keep our folks with us as long as possible. So we'll be reinvesting as much as we can on trying to create that personal touch with our customers. And I think it's paying off, because when we have those days where we have an off day and we're running behind, our customers are understanding, and a lot of people really aren't.
Absolutely. So one thing, what do you feel is working well that now that you've gotten the business under the thumb, what are some things you want to double down on in the future?
Well, it's going to continue to be with focusing on the customers, right? So we need to really get more engaging with our social media. I feel we do a great job of being informative. We just recently started working with the Main Street Board here in Hayhira, and there's a stay-at-home mom who's one of the board members, and they were doing a community scavenger hunt, and the whole goal is to help revitalize our businesses in town. Was to basically send the citizens over to these businesses to go get clues. So this week, we're actually the business that people are coming to. And so not only are we getting engagement from our community, the organizations like those boards, but we're also getting like those individuals as they come in, right? So we had a lady that came in yesterday and took a picture of her daughter in front of the slice with the clue and made the comment, make sure you bring your money because you're going to want pizza. So those are the type of things where we feel like we want to find out more about our customers, want to find out more of how we can engage with them, and find out how we can be more of like in a communication state of just being there for them, right? How do we how do we work together to feed them and stay in business and continue to grow?
Absolutely. And this is one thing, and I'll kind of pose the question to all the attendees as well. I'd like y'all, if y'all have time to drop a question or in the chat. What is something that you personally would like to see implemented from a technology perspective? Doesn't have to be with HungerRush, just in general, a trend that maybe you've acknowledged that you'd like to see. And I would ask the attendees the same thing. Drop a line. What are some things that you like to see from a technology standpoint?
I believe that one's to you, Estel. That's actually one of the questions that has actually popped up in the feed here. Is that what are some of the things that you kind of want to see kind of coming down the pipeline? Actually, I think it's the last question that was just asked.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. What's a favorite operation or function or service that you feel has had the most value with your relationship with HungerRush? And then, I would think what would you like to see come down the pipeline, maybe?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'll tell you, the biggest feature that we've taken advantage of, and I think we may get into a little bit is really that delivery service, right? And being able to geofence. For me, being able to get better timing and better knowledge of what's going on with my deliveries, because we're in a rural area. And so for us, one of the biggest things is we have a large radius that we cover. So trying to figure out how we could get more efficient with those deliveries, right? That would probably be one of the biggest things from a technology standpoint that would help us out tremendously. And then also maybe some integration parts, right? How can we kind of integrate some of our social media with our POS? We do some menu changes. What are some things that we can do to marry those technologies together to make things a little bit better? So there's a couple of things I would think of. And I heard you, Nick, you were asking the panelists, and I was thinking you were waiting on them. And so I apologize about that.
No, you're fine. I just want to hear, there's trends all over the world, right? So what you're doing in Hayhira, Georgia is a much different trend that might be down, in Houston, Texas, where we're based out of. So it's nice while we have, an open floor with all the attendees. If you have an idea or something that you wish could happen, drop a line. That's what we're here for as a industry leader, provider. That's just one thing that we like to know. Any feedback, like I said earlier, is good feedback. It's nice to have these open conversations and we build from you guys. That's why we're here, is to listen, to be mindful of the trends throughout the nation. Yeah.
Well, and absolutely. And we do have quite a few questions that have come in over this. Some of them may have been answered, so I'm going to have to go through and moderate them. But they might be good reiterations. But we only have a couple more slides left to go. We're almost to the end here. I appreciate Estel's time, and next time, love hearing the story of your journey, Estel.
Sure.
So it's one of those things. We've just got 2 or 3 slides left. But go ahead and get your questions in on the question tab, and we'll make sure that we can get them answered. And without any further interruption, Nick, I'll let you take it away and drive us home.
Absolutely. And one of the things, and I think you just kind of hit the nail on the head with some of the tools that we offer. What's attributed most, do you think, to your growing sales? Why do you think that you've seen a 20 and you said another continuous 20% during COVID of an increase in sales? What do you think is the driving factor with HungerRush and our partnership with the Slice Pizzeria?
Yeah, when we look, Nick, at the POS, I think the biggest thing for me is being able to have more trackability for our customers with their experience. So one of the biggest things that we try to do is we try to capture any maybe complaints or issues a customer may have, and we've trained our staff to be able to plug those in. And what happens is when that customer calls back and maybe we're going to give them 10% off or comp them pep rolls or maybe their order's being comped, we can actually be able to see that, hey, this did happen, right? But then on the flip side, I think the other thing that's really cool is sometimes, and I'm sure everybody's experienced this, is you've always kind of got the troublemakers, right? You've got that one person that always seems to order and to always complain, right? Because they think they can get something out of it. And for me, once we hit about 3 or 4 times in a month, I'm like, you know what? Maybe we just aren't a good fit. And so we have to be good stewards of our resources, and it's a business, right? We're trying to make livelihoods here, and so we've got to be able to marshal our resources and protect them as well. So it's also giving me that benefit, not only to be able to take care of customers, but also take care of my business and protect it a little bit. And when I think about growing sales, I think being able to see what people are buying, what they're trending towards, we can see if something worked, see if something didn't work. But then as we get further into the delivery side of it, being able to, like, I can literally just go into my maps and see that I've got 2 orders that are 2 streets apart. And what happens is I can get one driver to take that order. And because we have a 8 mile radius, there is that opportunity where I'm not going to send another person out there. So I get to reduce my labor costs in that sense. And then my drivers, they get tips, they get surcharged, and they get hourly pay. And so it basically makes it a bigger bang for their buck as well. And since, I see we're on the Google integrations here, I think the biggest thing for us that we've done here in the last 2 weeks actually is, even though somebody may be within the 8 mile radius, to get to them, you have to kind of go around other roads, right? So it might be more of like a 10 or 11 mile radius or delivery route. And so we've actually gone in and we physically went in and created 3 different zones. We've got one for the city of Hahira, and then we've got one that goes up to 5 miles. And then we've got the next one that's in our zone 3, which is everything else that's outside of there that we cover. And when we went in and we actually re-geo-fenced everything out, I can tell you that there's about 4 or 5 neighborhoods that are right there on the outside that we get a lot of business. And so we were able to really fine tune that radius specifically around particular neighborhoods. So that way we wouldn't lose some of our regular customers that really enjoy the Slice Pizzeria.
I'm looking at this integration in Google Maps. That's awesome. I'm sorry, Nick, I didn't mean to interrupt, but as used to be a driver, assistant manager, general manager, the one part of my job that I absolutely hated was routing. And what I'm sorry, what Esso said earlier about, if I can send him, it's 2 streets over, especially having such a large delivery area. I like the integration. I would have loved to have had this. I mean, granted, Google Maps was just getting off the ground at that point, but I got to say, out of this whole thing, I think this is my favorite. Plus, Hank McCoy, that's the Beast from X-Men. So I guess he lives right around the corner from Revenge Inc. I don't know if anybody else saw that. Whoever made this was definitely a nerd. But yeah, this might actually scratch off a few of those questions. But I didn't mean to interrupt. I just got super excited, guys. So I'll let you continue, Nick.
No, you're fine. That's one of the best things is we are forward thinking when it comes to integrations and integrating with big partners such as Google. Anything that can streamline the process for any of our partners out there, in the world, we're going to explore every option to make it, because we are not only, we don't just work with restaurateurs. Me being a former restaurateur, we are built by restaurateurs for you guys. So any ideas that you guys come with, and we crowdsource a lot of our information because we need the heartbeat of what's really going on in the industry. And that's where the Google Maps integration came through. We've got driver trackability now. There's a lot of cool things that we're really pushing the envelope from a technology standpoint to help you guys get even more analytics and more data to really hone in and make educated decisions that's going to directly impact not only your customers, but you guys as pocketbooks being owners.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so much great information here, and it's good to get it, from first person accounts. I know, Nick, there's like one more slide. There's something that's getting ready to come up here. I know you want to talk about, and then we can get into our Q&A. I appreciate everybody's patience. We have a bunch of questions. We'll get those answered for you. But Nick, what's this special event you want to talk about real quick?
Sure. So this is a big deal for our company. It's the first we've ever done. It's a virtual user conference. So it's going to be a panel of current users of how they use our product. We've been in business, HungerRush as a company, for almost 20 years. So I'm really excited to mention that we're hosting our first ever virtual user conference going to be on September 1st of this year. We'll have breakout sessions focused on all of our products, a customer panel, exciting industry expert guest speakers, a keynote speaker that you won't want to miss that I've actually had the privilege of speaking with. And then there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be giveaways, prizes. So save the date for this. It's a free event. There's a link to register. And then from that, you'll have a follow-up email, but it's going to be it's really exciting because we're taking a lot of industry knowledge, a lot of professionals, a lot of owners, operators, assistant managers, drivers, you name it. If it's in the hospitality field and you guys have questions, this is the spot that you guys are going to need to be at because we'll answer all of them.
All right, it's a Tuesday. We all know nobody does anything on Tuesdays. So September 1st, you guys be there.
Right,
where else you need to be right
Restaurant
now.
operators, Restaurant operators never have anything to do on a Tuesday, right? That's not true. That's it. That's inventory and order day. We all know that.
Shh, I'm just trying to push more attendance that way. Shh. All right, guys. Well, Nick and Essel, I do appreciate all your information. We do have a plethora of questions, which this video is always going to stay evergreen on pmq.com and as well as through hungerrush.com. You'll be able to find this, and maybe if you didn't get to see it, you can have your answers or questions answered after the fact. But I wanted to kind of jump into some questions here. Let me see here. I'm just going to go from the top and work my way down. All right. So, and I guess I'm going to try to assign these questions to who I think should probably be able to answer them best. I think this first one is probably both Nick and Estel. Is someone says, I'm thinking of opening a pizzeria. What's the best advice that you can share? How do you manage your delivery? Is it all in-house? Things of that nature. What's kind of the best tip that you can give, Estel? And then I guess Nick on the other side from somebody who helps the operators.
I would say this. I think, we're in a different situation because we were buying an existing pizzeria. But if you're opening up a brand new one, I'm going to tell you, it's you got to find the right location, right? Location is like the biggest thing. But I think we actually reached out in our process. We have a small business development center out here at Valdosta State University. That's an association with the University of Georgia. And we actually went and spent about a week or two with them. And it's no cost, right? They actually helped us out creating our cash flow plans to see if was this going to be a viable option for us, but it also works well when you're trying to open up your own place, right? And the thing that I found that was really most interesting about working with the Small Business Development Center was that they've got contacts, right? So they can link you in with certain people. So if you're trying to buy, get linked up with vendors, if you're trying to get linked up with somebody to buy equipment, you need the real estate or where you're going to go set up shop, they can actually link you in with community members to be able to make that a little bit easier for you and get those questions answered.
All right. So talk to the people who know the people.
That's right.
Nick, as far as like a technology standpoint, what's the one thing that people should be thinking about, like from the very get-go, as far as like setting up their operation, be it the POS or integration into maps, or, whatever have you? What's your personal opinion?
When I ran my pizzeria, one thing that I really dove into and stressed, not just from a culture standpoint, but by really diving into the numbers. So it was funny you mentioned on Tuesday, that's where I would sit down and have meetings with my management team as well as the ownership group as far as what are we doing well, what can we do better, and where are we failing at. There's a lot of analytics, a lot of data that we can dive into, but I think if you can ask yourself those three questions, it'll really help you make sound decisions of anything in life. So if I want to open a pizzeria, if I want to have my own business, one of the main things that I would consider is, obviously, Essel said, location. We all know how imperative that is from a success standpoint. One thing I'd take a step further is having the food and having, the culture established to really drive success and breed success, right? And that comes from what my labor cost is, what food cost is. There's just a lot of avenues. It's like, Essel will tell me, and we'll talk about it. It's a balancing act, right? I'm trying to balance labor, food costs, my accrued costs. So it's a balancing act, and it's a lot. There's trials and tribulations, but I don't know from a personal standpoint, but I know Essel does that. One of the most rewarding things that he goes home every night is saying, hey, I help the community, I serve good pizza, and I'm a business owner. So I think that the fruits of your labor will come about how much work you want to put into it.
Okay. All right. So moving on down, this I guess is this would probably be for Estel, as how quickly are customers adapting, or I'm sorry, how quickly are customers adopting the loyalty program, and is it attracting new customers towards you?
I would say this. I think the adoption portion of the loyalty program has actually been very easy. So the previous loyalty program that the owners had was these little punch cards for your pep rolls. You do 5 orders and then you get a free order of pep rolls. So what we were able to do was when people would come in and ask to get those signed, because everybody does that, because the pep rolls, everybody loves those. So we would literally just say, hey, you want to convert this into the loyalties program? And they were like, oh, tell me more about it. And you'd go through and explain to them what that process was and what it would do for them. And it also goes with their online ordering. So regardless if they order through the website or if they order while they're on the phone, it's all tied to that same person. So the adoption part was pretty easy for that. And attracting new customers, it's kind of, you ask those folks when they come in, right? Hey, do you want to sign up for the loyalties program, and explain it to them? We've done a couple posts on social media, but I don't know if it's really been something that's been a home run. We maybe can do better on that, I think.
Okay. Well, I mean, so you're actually asking them, and I mean, most of us are pretty easy to give up our even our phone number and email anymore to sign
That's
up for
right.
these. It's pretty much standard procedure anymore. But all right, so with varying degrees of success, I guess is kind of what you said, and it's to each their own. Some people don't want to put it out there. I guess that
That's
kind
right.
of leads into this next question that we had, though. I mean, what is the best, most? It's got a couple slashes in here. What is the best / most popular / most effective platform for this climate? And I assume this climate being currently with half lockdown of the country, social media, direct mail, or direct marketing, or email. I mean, what have you had the most success with, Estel? And then I guess, Nick, what are you guys seeing on your end?
I would say from my side, we're still kind of going through that loyalty programs. We're seeing some value because we can actually track that these people are coming in. I can go in my system and see if they've ordered within the last week. That's pretty easy. But I would say that the biggest success is really the Facebook groups. And when I say Facebook groups, I'm talking about the critics page that we're a part of, where there's about 12 or 13,000 people on that. And that's a large audience for our area and population size. Is finding those groups that people are talking about your stuff. So they'll ask for, like, hey, who's got the best calzones in town? I can go in there and I can see that somebody mentions the slice, and I'll go like it and comment and try to get that customer to come to us, to be able to get those things. So I have found that when we get a post, and it's specifically a good post about the slice or a recommendation, generally the next day we see anywhere from a 5 to 10% increase than normal.
Okay. Oh, well, Nick, I mean, there's kind of an add-on here for this question too. Is, I mean, what is the most popular? Is it social media, direct mail, or email? And how hard does that depend on the market? I mean, obviously it changes. Certain people respond more to direct mail versus social media. Is there a certain umbrella platform that you guys offer, or something that just kind of works in every market? It just figures it out and sends out the notifications to the best way people are going to respond.
So we've actually done market study and market research, and we've seen a dramatic shift to text messaging, SMS marketing
Really?
capabilities. Okay. As far as and we are implementing that. That is something that our development team has gotten feedback from some of our larger customers that said, a trend in Florida, SMS marketing works really well. Also, the old email, people are very, like you mentioned, Brian, I'm a little bit reluctant to give my cell phone number, but if you want my email address, I don't care. I'll give you my email address all day, every day. And if I don't like what you have to say, I'll unsubscribe from your list. But I think that we're seeing a shift with that. If we can attack the customer from all stages as far as brand awareness, from email with some SMS notifications, there's a way to communicate with everybody. So regardless if it's my grandma of 85 years old, or if it's my godson, which is 15 years old, right? There's a lot of different ways, and we're just trying to have a suite of products that when we dive in, Estel's community is very different than the community that I live in. So I've got a lot of high schools and a lot of churches and stuff around my house. So maybe me doing direct mailers to those organizations might work a little bit better than he uses a lot of Facebook. So there's no rhyme or reason of why something might work better than the other. But, just know that from a technology standpoint, we have over 5,000 pizzerias nationwide, and we listen to each and every one of them of what trends that they analyze. And then we do our best to deliver on that.
Well, yeah, you adapt to the market, and I knew that was a loaded question as soon as I put it out there. It's like asking when people ask me, "What's your favorite pizza?" It's like they all have their place. They all
Right.
do their job. But along the lines of that, Nick, do you guys offer? And I think I did see this in one of the actual. It was just kind of glossed over in one of the slides, but you have trainings or service programs that you can offer people coming into this, kind of teaching their employees how to manage this or what to look for as far as the up and down trends. If you see a downtrend, what to adjust. Is there someone, if I call the phone number, is there somebody 24/7 or an email, somebody can get back to me in real time? Because, we all know that a lot of pizzerias stay open really late. Well, used to, but I mean, how accessible are you guys for any kind of problem that they might have?
Absolutely. We do everything here at our corporate office in Houston, Texas. So 24/7, 365 tech support. When you call in, somebody's going to answer the phone within 45 seconds. That's what we pride ourselves on. We know that you're only as good as your customer service. And if you leave a bad taste in somebody's mouth because you didn't answer the phone to help them, at the time of need, you're going to lose those customers. And the old adage, one bad experience is going to echo an eternity through friends and social media and all of that. So we do all of that in-house. We don't outsource. They're literally in the same building that I work out of. I can go over and talk to them. I can go face to face and say, hey, Estel and, Hahira Georgia's having a problem. Can you guys give him a call and have him, help him out? Or most of the time I do it for him. It's a relationship that we build with all of our partners and all of our customers. And that's one thing that we do not skimp on when it comes to making sure that you guys are operating at an optimal level.
Okay, well, just again, as experience, when that POS or something happens with how you get your orders, trust me, there's a lot of chaos. So it's nice to know that there's somebody on the other end, even if it's a midnight, 2, 3 in the morning. So,
Absolutely.
All right, so we do have several more questions, but we only have a couple more minutes. Not trying to keep you guys from your day, so I want to pick some of the pertinent ones. Here's one. Actually, I think it's going to be for Estel. Has there been one thing customers that have demanded that you couldn't accommodate for the pandemic currently? Because I know there's so many more questions, and actually, I think I want to talk with Estel on the PMQ Live updates next week if he's available. I was going to ask him that off the air, but so I can ask some of these other questions. But has there been one thing that customers have demanded since you just bought this place, and it is pretty much brand new for you, that you didn't have right away, but HungerRush kind of stepped up and said, "Ta-da! Here you go." I mean, has HungerRush been able to help you out functionally wise with something that customers are demanding in this current climate?
I would probably say the most important thing for our customers has been being able to get their food in a timely manner, right? And that was one of the challenges we faced before HungerRush was manually having to look up addresses on our phones. Because our customers, when we say, an hour, right, is our time frame, they expect it in an hour. And
Yeah.
if it's not there on an hour, about an hour and 1 minute, I'm getting a phone call if I haven't already reached out to them. So that's probably the one thing I would say is that our customers are wanting to be able to get their food in a timely fashion. And of course, good quality food. So I feel before February that we really struggled with that and we weren't accommodating our customers. But I feel now that we've got those abilities to be able to get, multiple orders, same direction and faster delivery times and more efficient has been the biggest thing for us that we've seen us pay dividends.
Okay, great. I have just two more real quick, and we'll probably go like 1 minute over. I wanted to ask you real quick, Estel, did you keep or rebrand the slice? Was it already the slice when you bought it, or did you kind of rebrand the whole thing? And was there any transition of ownership that HungerRush helped you get the message out with? Or vice versa, just to let people know, hey, it's the same, it's just new owners.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we did do that in October, we didn't have HungerRush at the time. And when we took over at the end of October, we decided to keep the brand the same. And the reason for that is everybody knew who the slice was in Hahira. We worked in tandem with the city of Hahira, and we worked with them to be able to basically get the word out. And the city of Hahira has I think 8,000 or 9,000 followers, maybe even 10 now. But when we opened, we were jamming for the first week. I mean, it really drove a lot of business for us.
All right, great. And then this last one, just for you, Nick, real quick. I think we kind of talked about this. It was asked a little bit earlier, but are there any new technologies or exciting things that you can maybe leak to us that you guys are really excited about there at HungerRush? I mean, I know everything's just kind of evolving at a mile a minute right now. This pandemic has just forced us into innovation, which is great for all the wrong reasons, unfortunately. But is there anything exciting coming down that you're working on that you can talk about? And if not,
Absolutely.
oh, great.
Yeah, no, there's some awesome, really exciting things. Our director of product, Dan Whalen, is a fantastic person that really wants to push the envelope on everything that we do to try to stay an industry leader. So we have I would say three of the best things that we have rolling out in the next, say, 6 months before end of year is we just released the DoorDash, or not the DoorDash, the Drive app where you can actually track your drivers with efficiency, which is really cool that you can find out your better performers, your more efficient drivers. So we just rolled that out. That's a really cool integration. If you if there's any current customers on this call, reach out to your account rep and they will, burst you on that. Another thing that we have beta testing out there is a new tablet. So we have a tablet solution for curbside ordering, as well as table management. And that is in beta test. We're hoping to launch that by, I would say, September is the latest. The beta tests are going very well on that. And another thing that we are kind of the third thing, but it's taking a back seat with all the COVID is self-ordering kiosks. So customers walking in, being able to order. But with the COVID and the pandemic shift, people touching things and the cleanliness of it, it does work. We do have it, but it's kind of been put on the back shelf just because of a radical shift that we saw in the market that we all know in March. So we've got some really exciting things, features, create your own online ordering page. So UI UX is something that we're releasing as well, so the customer will have full access for the look and feel that you want for your online ordering platform. So kind of a Wix style, if you're familiar with that, that company, kind of a Wix style, build your own. So your own color palettes, you're uploading your own photos. You can literally take a picture of your Philly cheesesteak pizza, like Essel has, and go right to your computer and upload it to your website instantaneously. So we're always pushing the envelope. This is a great company. We're forward, progressive thinkers when it comes to this industry that we've been a part of for almost 20 years. And we look forward to helping all of our clients out for 20 years plus and beyond. So that comes with good technology, good software, good solution to offer you guys a suite of products that we firmly know will increase, revenue and make your lives more seamless.
Well, yeah, that's great. And then, without elongating it any longer, I'm just saying to you guys, how accessible are you to the community? I mean, I know that people can call in if they have issues, but are you listening to them all the time when people have suggestions about how to make your platforms better, or say, hey, look, this doesn't do this for me right now, but it might be something that you might think about? Are you guys very accessible as far as listening to the industry about how to advance what you guys are doing?
Absolutely. I mean, you have to be. When it's software, technology moves at light speed. We all know that. I mean, Apple, Google, industry leaders. I mean, look at companies like Tesla, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we have to keep the trend, in our forefront, just based on we have to know what the market is dictating. And as we all know, you saw a radical shift within a month. If there were other point of sale providers or technology companies for restaurants, if they didn't have online ordering, what do you think happened with those companies within the blink of an eye? So we always have to stay ahead of the trends. We are very receptive. We have Hungry Howie's is our biggest client, over 550 locations. So, if you have 550 locations, you know what you're doing, and we're very receptive to do testing with them, as well as Essel and the mom and pops. I mean, we listen to what he wants, and him and I have, we've kind of brainstormed and rolled it up to our product team for the automated emails and trying to marry the two social media platforms. So absolutely, we're 100% receptive, because without our customers, I don't know everything about the pizza space, nor does anybody in, our business. It's just a mastermind, but we get good feedback. We want to grow. We want to expand and be, continue to be an industry leading point of sale provider.
Awesome. Well, I mean, it all sounds great. It sounds like a magnificent system and platform that you guys have going there. Essel, I do appreciate you being on here and actually kind of touting some of the success stories for that. I would like to talk with you again as part of like maybe get you on the PMQ live updates. Just kind of the interest for you is just the having decided to open up a restaurant in the middle of this and actually being successful. So that's another story. But again, Estel and Nick, I do want to thank you guys so much for your time. I want to thank everybody who stuck around, everybody who submitted questions. This will be available on pmq.com as well as hungerrush.com. And anybody who missed this, had to leave halfway through, you will get an email with a video available to you. So, I appreciate everybody's time today. I want to tell everybody, stay safe, stay sane. I want to thank our speakers, Estel Powell and Nick Bryant of Hunger Rush, Estel Powell of The Slice, and Hail Hydra, Georgia. I'm sorry, I've been trying to scream that all day. Hey, Hydra, Georgia. So
there you go.
So thank you guys so very much for all your time. And, until then, stay safe and stay sane. And everybody loves pizza, so just get out there and do what you do best. See you guys next time in the PMQ webinar series. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.